Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Bo, and I'm back with some more Truth and Fact Sports Talk. All right, shout out to the movement and everybody that's moving with us. Shout out to Three Kings Boxing for all the latest greats what's going on in boxing. You go to Three Kings, and this interview is being brought to you by Three Kings Boxing, all right? Joining me today to help me with this interview, of course, I got my man. He wrote his first article for Three Kings Boxing. My man, Cesar Rivas. What's going on, man?
Going on, man. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. What can I say, you know? It's another great day, another great weekend for boxing.
Hey, it's a beautiful day for you because you're in Florida.
Hey, well, you know, that's not my fault.
Then, of course, we have joining us amateur standout, also fighting out of Omaha, looking to make his pro debut soon. We've interviewed him before. You guys seen him, Mr. Uriel Valdovinos. What's going on, man?
What's good, man? What's good?
All right, yeah, I'm gonna start calling you the you.
The you. You can call me Val if you want. That's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Hey, Uriel. So
what's up?
Just to be clear, how do you spell your name, man? Because I'm sure after this interview, a lot of people are gonna want to research who you are.
So it's like Ariel, but just with a U. So Uriel.
Okay, Uriel, and then your last name?
It's Valdovinos. VAL D as in David OVINOS.
All right, man. Cool stuff.
All right. Now, we're going to go down. Now, first, before we jump into talking about Uriel, I got to ask you this question, man. Were you impressed with what you saw from Mikey Garcia last night, man?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was going to happen, though. I knew it was going to happen. I called it. You can ask Chris. You know, I told him, but Mikey's timing, man, his boxing is great. It's great. And I also heard a little bit about I didn't really watch too much of the fight, but from what I saw, they were talking about Robert Easter possibly wanting to box a little bit more. You know what I mean? Fight him tall, use his jab, be on the outside.
Right.
Which typically is not his style, right? I'm not a big Robert Easter guy, so I haven't really seen too many of his fights. But from what I heard, that's not really his style. He's more of a on the inside, try to bang it out with you type of guy. And to go to that style at such a big fight with such a great boxer, because Mikey Garcia is a really great boxer, man. I just don't think that was a smart move. Maybe do a few tune-up fights, 1 or 2 fights in between there where you changing your style and then doing that. But I don't know, man. I just don't think that was the perfect timing to try to do something like that for them.
Okay, all right. Well, we can't argue with you because of the results. So, man, look, check it out. You haven't gone pro yet. You still trying. It's been a long process for you. What is the most frustrating thing about it? Because you're ready and you want to do it, but you gotta wait for the right time and for everything to come together. What has been the most frustrating thing for you waiting on this to happen?
Well, the most frustrating thing was my knee. We talked about it last time. I had that ACL and meniscus surgery.
Right.
Honestly, I haven't been, even though I started going back into the gym like last December, I wasn't able to really do anything crazy. I was still going through rehab. I was still working on my knee. And honestly, in May is when it got good, when I was able to, put that behind me and start working. So the most frustrating thing was just having to wait on my knee to be solid. Right?
Okay, all right. You went out on that last part. I don't know if that was your mic or something. Say that one more time. Your knee about what now?
Yeah, so I mean, the most frustrating thing was having to wait on my knee and having to work and get that strength back in it to be able to train comfortably and it not be an issue.
Okay, and then one last question before I let my man here ask you a couple. When you're training, how, like, you're not trying to overdo it because you still, but you want to do enough to stay fit. How are you balancing out your training to where you're staying fit, but you're not over killing yourself?
Well, Chris is a really smart guy, man. He's overseeing all of that, and we push my body, but we also let it recuperate. We have a really good open relationship where I'm able to tell him, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I feel, and based off of that, we make adjustments. So there are some days where I want to go in the gym and I want to be in the gym every day of the week or whatever the case is, but he doesn't let me. He tells me, hey, you got to do an ice bath today. You got to take it easy. You got to let your body recuperate. So it's all about, how your body's feeling, pushing it, and also letting it recover.
All right, that's what's up. My man, Cesar. Go ahead, man. You got the floor is yours, man. Ask the man some questions.
In the background, listening to my man Uriel, do want to give you a compliment before I start, man. You're very well spoken, and much kudos to that. I don't know if you know this or not, but I as well was an amateur boxer. I'm going to say was because I haven't competed in a year and a half.
Okay.
I got 35 fights myself, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man, good stuff. And
awesome.
and honestly, I like to hear that you're well spoken and charismatic, man. It seems like you got a bright future on your shoulders.
Appreciate it.
A couple of questions that I got. First off, what weight class do you compete in? I think fans would like to know that.
So I competed at the 132 weight. As an amateur, I fought all the way from 110 to, I fought 114, 119, 123 when I changed divisions going into the men's, the men's division. Okay. And then 132 is where I, where my last fights were at as an amateur. When I go pro, I'll probably debut at 140, and then hopefully we're able to get my body down right to 135, and then go back to up.
You actually answered my second question. I wanted to ask you, what's your ideal when you turn pro? So, if you mind me asking, around what weight are you walking around at?
Right now I'm at like 159 comfortably.
Good stuff, man.
I stay at that 160, walk weight right now.
Good stuff, man. So, I overheard that you're in the process of going pro, and I give, hats off to that, man. I know it's a real complicated, procedure, and, because you can turn pro at any given moment. It's a matter of, getting the right manager and pulling the trigger in a sort of sense. Do you have promoters or managers that you're eyeing right now?
So, we talked about this a little bit, but yeah, I'm talking with somebody. I'm not gonna drop any names or anything like that, and it's gonna be more of a partnership that we're gonna have going on until some time. So, but yeah, we've got that basically covered.
Okay, good stuff, man. So you're out of Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
And so obviously you already know what questions are gonna come your way. Everyone's probably gonna want to know, how well you know Terence Crawford. Have you ever been in his camp? Have you ever sparred him? That I'm sure that's what the public is fiending to hear right now. So with that being said, I'll drop the mic right there.
Right. I've known Bud since I was like 13, 12. He actually trained out of the gym, or my gym, or I trained at his gym, whatever you want to call it. But we used to be in the same gym. It was Jackson's Boxing Club. He trained out of there for the longest. So I know Bud very well. I sparred him, when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. He definitely took it very easy on me. But, great learning opportunity, watching his work ethic and watching him go from being somebody, that nobody knows to at the top of the boxing game. It was I remember when he fought Ricky Burns, and it was just something. It's kind of like motivating, being able to see him go from essentially nothing to who he is today. So yeah, I know Bud very well. I know his camp very well. Like I said, we trained together long.
Yeah, man. I mean, it must definitely be inspirational. The fact that you've known somebody and you've seen their development, you've seen where they came from, and at the same time, it also lets you know that it's within your reach as well.
Exactly.
It all depends on what you put into it, and and of course your drive. But at the end of the day, it does seem like it's a sense of realization. But another question that I would like to know is, have you ever been a part of any other notable pro, or even non-notable, doesn't matter. Have you ever been a part of any other pro training camps and sparring? Basically, who have you mixed it up with? Any notable names?
No, nothing too crazy, man. Honestly, Bud's probably the biggest, or if not one of the only ones that I've been around as far as that's concerned. And Gulo used to train out of Jackson's for a bit too, or he had workouts there because he has family in Omaha. So Alfredo and Gulo, I was in the gym with them a couple times. So that's about it. Nothing too crazy.
I can't, I can relate to that, man, where like when you're in there with somebody of that level, it definitely elevates you.
Right.
To a different level, and I can only imagine, you that you're young. How old are you, if you mind me asking?
I'm 23, man. 20. Just turned 20. Yeah, just turned 23.
You're still a young pup, with a gleamer in your eye, man. A long way to go, but a promising future as it sounds.
Yeah.
But, so besides the notable, training camps and all that, and I'm sure, you've gained a lot of talent. How has that transitioned in the tournaments that you've competed in, and any big tournaments, that you've competed in the past year or two?
So you don't know this about me, but Bo does. I had ACL and meniscus surgery on my right knee, a little over a year ago. So I've been out for a bit. So I guess I'm a former amateur boxer myself.
All right, but you know what? Let's go back to when you were active. What tournaments were you competing in, and how well did you fare? Because I'm sure the fans would like to hear that.
Yeah, man. So I competed in the National USAs. I competed at the National Golden Gloves, Ringside World Championships, the National Pals. So I definitely have some national experience as far as that's concerned. I always came up a little bit short, but it definitely taught me quite a bit. I took some losses against some really top amateur standout fighters, and I learned from it. But as far as in my region in the Midwest, I've competed at a lot of invitationals. I got a lot of wins, but unfortunately, I never got that national title. I got ranked up to 6th nationally in like 2013, I think it was, 2013 or 2014. So.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Again, relating to you as a co-fighter, I guess at this point, I competed in the light, heavy, and middleweight divisions. Well, what I relate to you is, man, there's something that people overlook in the amateurs. Whether you win a tournament or not, let's say you don't win that tournament, I feel like, one, it makes you hungrier because you go back to camp and you're gonna grind.
Yeah.
Because now you feel like you have something to prove.
Right.
Whereas when you win, you're like, all right, I'm winning. It is what it is. But honestly, man, the fact that you really haven't won a notable tournament, in a way, to me, I look at that as better education, because I'm sure you came back home and drilled it that much harder than the guy who did win the tournament.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things with me, though, is that I understand my style wasn't always cut out for the amateurs. I am fast myself, but that 3 rounds, 3-minute rounds, up tempo, crazy speed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think. I like to box. I like to, break somebody down, and 3 rounds just isn't enough time for me. And I always knew that. So I'm not going to say it like made me complacent or made me settle or anything like that, but it allowed me to have that level of maturity to understand that all of it was a learning experience for the pros, because that's where my style is going to thrive, and that's where I'm going to be successful. So,
before I turn it over to Bo, I just got a quick little statement, and I'm sure you can relate to this. And for those of you that are listening in and never competed and would like to get, I guess, an inside glimpse on what the world really is, or what the comparison between amateurs and pros is. The analogy I like to use, man, it's like, imagine like you wake up in the morning and you go for a run, and imagine 3 miles. Now you can sprint a mile. That's deadly. Like you're tired after sprinting a mile. You got to be in incredible shape. But jog wise, you can probably jog 8 to 10 miles, and you'll break a sweat, but you'll be okay. And I think that's the difference between the amateurs and the pros. Is in the amateurs, it's a full out sprint in those 3 rounds, And in the pros, typically, you start off with 4 rounds, in the beginning, and you transition up to 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. But it's a slower pace, and I feel like it definitely gives you the opportunity. And given, you're just the way you present yourself, I can already tell you're a cerebral fighter. You mentioned it, but I haven't seen footage of you. And I promise you, after today, I am going to go on YouTube. I'm going to go on Google. I'm going to try to find you, bro, because you're that type of fighter I like. I like guys that like to break people down, like to figure people out, like to control with their brain, and very few understand that. And I feel like you're one guy that does.
So there's I think there are a couple videos on YouTube, 2 of my fights. There's one that I had with Trevin Coleman. He's a local amateur standout as well. He's signed with B&B Promotions, which is Terence Crawford's promotional group. I fought him at the the finals of the Omaha Golden Gloves. I think it was the districts.
Mm-hmm.
We got districts, then we got the state and the regional or whatever. So I fought him in the finals of that. But at that point, I myself was making a transition in my style of fighting. I used to be one of those, Mexican style fighters who was very tough Mexican, and I still am. But it was to the point where I was okay with you hitting me 2 times, 3 times, because I'm gonna hit you once. One time I do hit you, it's gonna be a little harder. So I was a problem essentially, and those.
Uriel, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're for some reason like you're kind of cutting in and out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I mean, but if you can pick off towards the latter half of your fight with Trevin, from what I understood, you said, you'll take 2 shots, but when you give your shot, you make sure your opponent feels it. Is that
right,
correct?
Right. So I've always had power, for my weight or whatever the case was. I've always hit hard. I've always hit harder than my opponents. So with me being a brawler, I was okay with getting hit 2 or 3 times because I'd eat them up and I'd hit you, but I know my shot's gonna hurt you a lot more. So
right.
that transitioned into my style of fighting, and at that point, I kind of started switching it up. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the videos that you'll find of me, I was more of a pressure fighter consistently. Not that I'm not a pressure fighter now because I am, but I was more of a going at you brawler the whole time. But so you'll see that on those YouTube videos. Now I like to take my time a little bit more. I started transitioning and I'm still definitely aggressive, but a lot more smart with it. I don't want to get hit too much.
Yuri, you're a man that's in transition. You're a man that's in progression. And if you fight the same as you did months ago or even a year ago, then I would say, hey, man, maybe you might want to rethink your options. So the fact that you even said and mentioned that you're not the same guy, that's why, like, me personally, I don't believe in studying film that much anymore because you're supposed to learn from your mistakes of your last fight. And if you look at the exact same, you're doing something wrong. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Right. Yeah, man. You hit it on the nose. They say if you never change, you never evolve.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to develop and evolve and be a better fighter. But yeah, so those YouTube videos that you'll see, I was more of a brawler. And shortly after 2013, that's when I began transitioning into more of a boxer and working on that. So
good stuff, man. Oh, what's up, man? What you think of my guy? I'm gonna call him my guy because I'm liking this
guy. Well, I got 2 things to say. Both of y'all are young pups. When I spied out what my age is,
don't even go there. Don't even go there. It's embarrassing.
Both of y'all are young pups. I do want to say this though. It's very rare you see a guy in the amateurs that realize how he has to change his style before he go pro. Most guys don't realize it until probably when they're looking at the second half of their pro career, as if I don't change, it might be it for me. So the fact that you caught it very early says that not only do you have a good team behind you, right, but it also says that you are extremely aware of where you want to go when you do go pro. So you realize this is not going to work. I got to change it. So that's very, very good. Let me ask you this one question, then we're going to probably be closing it out soon. What are you? Every fighter, I think, when they know they're going to pro, they set a certain amount of goals for themselves. What are some of the immediate goals within the first year you want to try to accomplish when you turn pro?
I want to win. It's easy.
It's simple. He wants to win.
I want to win. It's all about wins and losses now. Like they say, Floyd ruined it for everybody as far as that's concerned. But no, I'm just joking. I want to have within the first year, maybe 5, 6 fights. I want to stay active.
Go ahead. Wait a minute. Say it again, because I think when you move, you get away from the mic a little bit.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I just want to stay active. You know, I want to have 4, 5, 6, as many fights as I can within that first year. Just really get accustomed to the pros, get some good, what's the word I'm looking for here? Get some good experience in there. And, yeah, that's the biggest thing, man, is getting active, getting my name out there more, develop a little bit of a brand, whatever you want to call it, and really just get the wheels going, man.
Now, what are you doing to prepare yourself? Because and I think this is important. I think a lot of fighters should do it before they turn pro. What are you doing to prepare yourself for what's gonna? Because once you start turning pro and you start making a name for yourself, you start winning some of these minor titles, international or Latino or whatever. That's when more sponsors, more money, more temptation is gonna start coming at you. What are you doing now to put the blocks in place to where, as them things come, they're being diversified accordingly, so it's not overwhelming you from keeping your focus on training,
aka focus?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm educating myself, and this is mostly because of Chris. Chris is a great mentor, a great coach, a great person to have, behind myself. But with that being said, I'm really educating myself on the business aspect of boxing. Because boxing is a business, and I think one of the biggest takeaways that I've gotten recently is that I am my own business. Even though, there's going to be promotional companies that I'll sign with or managers or whatever the case is. Essentially, those are just partnerships. There's got to be contracts in there, and I'm the business. So I'm really educating myself on the businessman standpoint.
Okay. I didn't realize you. I didn't.
He said his thing. I respect that. But, Bo, to come back on the comment you said, I give him props for understanding now to change his style. You said that it takes some fighters the second half of the career to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to say sometimes guys realize it when their backs are on the floor looking up at the light.
I want to chime in on there quickly. I think the style that I used to have would have been very successful for me. Not only in the amateurs, I probably would have been a better amateur fighter, but I think I would have been a pretty successful pro with it as well. The main reason for the change in going from strictly a brawler, somebody who likes to get hit, kind of like a baby bull type of vibe. The biggest reason for that was the health aspect of it. I watched an interview with Floyd Mayweather, and he says, "Look, I have my health. Fernando Vargas, one of my favorite fighter of all time. I have his signed glove right here. Look at the way he speaks now. He's punched. So I think a fear of mental, deterioration and mental health is the reason for that adjustment for the most part.
Yuri, that's the reason why I didn't go pro. Right there, you ahead. See, I'm an aggressive. I was a brawler, and I learned how to box and defense as I got, But you hit the nail on the head. The reason why I'm not going pro is because of health. I know many guys that go in there with that machismo mentality.
Right.
And when they come out of the game, they can't even speak or remember their child's birthday. That's something that holds dearly in my heart. And the fact that you stated it's for your health, you have your head in the right place, my friend.
Yeah, man, it's scary. It's definitely something that I considered for a long time too. While I was out with my surgery and recovering and all that, it's something I had to think about long and hard whether it was something that I was going to do and pursue, because health is very important to me, man. Like they say, health is wealth. Without it, you really don't have much. So it's a life decision, and I just got to be smart about it, and that's the big reason for the change, man.
Listen, man, I respect that. I respect you. By the way, I haven't met you till today, and honestly, you've intrigued me into discovering who you are. I do wish you the best in your career, my friend, and know this, that you have a lifelong fan by the name of Cesar Jr. Rivas.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. It was a pleasure to meet you as well.
Absolutely.
All right, and we're going to give a shout out to Jackson Boxing Club and Chris Hardasty. Hey, man, am I saying his name right, man? Because he gets on me about that.
It's Hardesty. Yeah. Yeah, man, Jackson's is a great club, man. We're one of the only I mean, we're strictly a competitive gym, so it's nothing but actual fighters in there. You know, it's not people that are just working out, but it's free for the kids too. You know, we do. There's a lot of fundraising that goes on. Coach Campos is in there, and he's doing a fabulous job with all the kids. And it's just awesome. Boxing
Listen,
deserve a shout out.
if I'm ever in the area, man, I'm definitely stopping by. And if you live in the area, you know, this goes out to the fans and the listeners. If you're in the Omaha area, man, please check out Jackson Boxing Club. You know,
Yes,
it
sir.
sounds like it's definitely a great cradle of boxing in the Omaha, Nebraska region.
That's right.
For sure. All right, now we're going to close the show out. But before we close the show out, as always, we got to do a little prediction, a little what if prediction, because we got fighters on the line, right? Now, I want to hear from both of you guys. I don't know how much you know, Uriel, but I'm expecting my man Cesar to know this one, all right?
Okay.
Salvador Sánchez and Shane Mosley, 135.
Oh, we're doing a fantasy matchup, huh?
Who wins that? Who
right.
wins that?
Listen, bro, you really got to make me answer this in 10 seconds?
Yes.
Wow. I'm going to go on a hunch. Listen, I'm going to go on a hunch, and I'm going to say Salvador Sánchez. And I'm going to tell you why. It's going to be a competitive bout between the two. I mean, I think Shane Mosley, arguably, man, he was looking like a baby Sugar Ray Robinson at 135 for a minute. You know, I remember in the early 2000s, Sugar Shane was the guy. Even before Floyd was the guy, Sugar Shane was the guy. Yeah. And honestly, you know, and cold-heartedly, I think Salvador Sánchez, man, he just had this mystical aura about him. You know, especially in that, you know, his most notable win against the Puerto Rican. God, please help me with his name because I'm forgetting it.
Was it Wilfredo Gomez?
Wilfredo Gomez. I was going to say it's one of the Wilfredos. Wilfredo Gomez, man. You know, Gomez was the boogeyman of the era in that division. And Salvador Sánchez, with his poofy afro, came out of left field and boxed his ass off. So I'm going to give it, man, down to the sheer might and will of Salvador Sánchez.
All right. I likes that. My man, Uriel, come on, Val. Who you got, man?
You know, I want to say Sugar Shane, man. I do, but I
sold him. I sold him on Sanchez. I'm telling you.
44-1. You know, 32 knockouts. Salvador Sánchez wasn't a joke, man. He beat Gomez. Man, I'm looking at his resume right now. Salvador Sánchez, man.
Yeah. Good choice.
I want to go with Sugar Shane because I was a really big Sugar Shane fan, but I honestly think Sanchez would have took that.
Okay, now I'm gonna make you unanimous. I'm gonna tell you why I'm going with Salvador Sánchez. You just mentioned what you mentioned, but there's one important fact about it. He did this at the age of 23, so he still did it at a time when he had more growth to go.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a fight, and shout out to my man 2K from Prodigy of Boxing. We talked about a lot of people didn't realize how special Azuma Nelson was when Sanchez fought him. We found out later. But if you watch that fight, his motor never freaking stopped. Like Salvador Sánchez had a motor, dog, that's never stopped. And Shane had tendencies where he would take a minute or two off, and you can't do that against Salvador Sánchez. That's where Wilfredo Gomez found out. You can't even take 20 seconds off against Salvador Sánchez. He's on you. So I got Salvador Sánchez, man. So there it is. Salvador Sánchez, he wins, man. So Uriel, tell everybody. Oh, my bad. Cesar, tell everybody where they can find you at, man, if they want to talk boxing, and where they can catch some more of your articles at, man.
Listen, man, the one and only Three Kings Boxing. That's where you're going to find me exclusively with my man Bo Bland on the radio with Truth. And come on, help me out here, Bo.
And facts about sports. Truth and Facts Sports Talk.
Baby, all day.
All right. And Uriel, tell everybody where they can catch you at and follow you on Instagram, too, to catch your training.
Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Val Boxing, VAL Boxing. Last name's Valdovinos. A lot of people can't say it. Uriel, a lot of people can't say it, so Val's easier. Just go off that. That's the biggest thing I'm on is just Instagram, so you can follow me there. Huge shout out to my boy Bo. Always great being here, man. Cesar, great to have met you. I appreciate, Three Kings Boxing and all of you guys' publications. You guys are awesome, man.
All right. Now, before I start, I just want to say I'm extremely jealous of both of these dudes because Cesar got hair, but this dude, Uriel, got hair. I'm really, he got hair, dog. He got the kid that play box cut looking clean. I'm like extra mad right now.
They call me Uncle Jesse,
Yo, so of course you guys know you can catch me at Truth and Fact Sports Talk on YouTube, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Truth_FactBox1. Again, this interview has been brought to you by the Movement. Go to the Movement on Facebook, Three Kings Boxing on Facebook, and also 3kingboxing.com, the website. Like you said, a lot of content. We cover all the fights, don't matter what weight class, don't matter who it is, men or women. Don't matter if the guy only got one fight, if the guy got 100. We cover all of it, man. I want to thank my man Uriel for taking time for being here. I talk to him every now and then off air. That's why some of the things we say we kind of laugh at, because I do talk to him off air. But also shout out to his trainer, Chris Hardesty, and for what he's doing for down there at Jackson Box. A lot of guys don't know, Jack, they actually had to move it to another location. And when they moved it to that location, the guy let him get it for free. And I thought that was an awesome story that was featured on the news. So go support that. My man, Cesar, I appreciate you taking time out for being here, man, because I just called him up on the whim, like, yo, man, what are you doing? And he came in. I definitely want to say thanks for that, man. So for everybody out there, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for taking this call. And as always, I leave you with this one last thought. Everything you heard, if there's nothing in here you heard you like, remember the best dude on here is me. All right, y'all, peace.